What's up guys, it's your boy Lim Crimmins. We're back again with another video. Today we're doing the Poison Necro, the build, the guide, all of that good stuff. Haven't really been around lately, been working, I'm in school, the Euros have been happening. Come on England, come on the lads, it's coming home. Although Italy has been great as well, all tournaments, so can't wait for that final tomorrow. So this is probably my best character all season. It can really do anything in the game. It's a really good map runner. I did a lot of CS runs. It's my favorite thing to do in the game. And overall, it's just really strong. So let's start with the skill tree. Of course, you're a Poison Necro, so you're going to max out all three Poison skills. Poison Nova, Desecrate, and Poison Dagger. Now, Poison Nova, that's your AoE kind of splash, high density area. You know, it's the big O-ring of poison. Desecrate, that's your single target. As you can see, it does like nearly twice as much damage. And I use this for map bosses and regular bosses like Diablo. Or if you have a very spicy map in a public game, maybe it's like an 8-person game and you don't really want to be up there in the mix, you can stay back and kind of cast Desecrate from afar. Otherwise, you'd have to be right in there using Poison Nova or you're not going to hit anyone. I didn't put anything into the bone skills. I think bone armor is pretty useless. It doesn't really stack enough. You're going to be recasting it every 5 seconds. For the curses, I just have 1 point into amp damage. This just helps for my clay golems and my mercenary when killing, you know, single target bosses, essentially. It doesn't really do much, but I figured it was better than nothing, and it helps for party play sometimes. Originally for this build, I used lower res just so I could eliminate the poison immunities on some poison immune monsters, but I found it really wasn't that viable, and I ended up just doing mostly maps and CS, which don't really have poison immunes to begin with, so I didn't really need it. So for the summoning skills, this is where some variation comes into play. You can either go clay golems or you can go revive. Now I've done the revive route where, you know, you just cast Desecrate, creates the corpses, and then you make revives out of them. But the thing is with revives, probably 90% of the monsters, when you telly using Blood Warp, when you telly into a group, those revives literally just stick right on you. As opposed to clay golems, when you telly, they kind of scatter everywhere and instantly become 5 extra targets. When you telly with revives, they don't move unless you move, and then they scatter. So essentially, if you jump into anything with revives, it's as if they're not even there and you're just going to get hit a bunch. Whereas clay golems, instantly you have 5 extra targets for any enemy monsters to hit. For survivability purposes, clay golem is just way better. They never die either, so you don't have to recast them on like revives, which, you know, you have to recast every few minutes. So I maxed out golem mastery so I could have 5 of them. I maxed out blood warp. Well, I didn't max it out exactly. I put it up to 0.4 seconds. So when I bow, it becomes 0.2 seconds, which is essentially 0 seconds. So you'll see later on some gameplay, there's really no difference between 0 and 0.2. I can just non-stop telly regardless. I put 1 point into blood, iron, and fire golem just for the hell of it. Fire golem does look pretty cool if you're just aesthetically wanting to fuck around. However, clay golem is the one you do want to go with because it slows enemies 20%, which is quite huge in the grand scheme of things. That's it for the skill tree, guys. Let's go to the gear. This is kind of debatable. I am a max block poison and bone necro, so some of these items are interchangeable depending on what you want to do. Maybe you don't want to be max block, you want to go for more cast rate, in which case maybe more Trang items will get you more cast rate and a bit of poison damage as well. But my goal here was to get max block with as much survivability without losing poison damage wherever possible. We have this very GG homunculus with a +1 all skills corrupt. I puzzle boxed it for 2 open sockets, thankfully, and I upgraded it to a Bloodlord skull. Now, this does increase the strength requirement to 106, which is kind of detrimental depending on the rest of your gear, but I am wearing a steel shade helmet, which is 109 strength, so I figured I have to get there anyways. I might as well upgrade it and get twice the defense. So I threw 2 5/4 poison facets in here. Each of these were about 0.5 high runes, whereas a 5/5 was 2.5 high runes. I was like, why the hell am I going to spend 4 extra high runes? I'm not that crazy. But if you have the high runes, by all means, I understand why people did it, right? If you want to be perfect. 29 all res, not that great. And 4 mana after kill, which is definitely beneficial. For the armor, we have a bramble. There is no other option. 45% poison skill damage, which is pretty nice. 19 of thorns, doesn't matter. Thorns doesn't do anything anyways. And you get some good res bonuses, some mana bonuses. It's a very good armor. Like I said, there is no other option. 50 FHR for when you don't block. For the helm, I am using Steel Shade. This is also kind of debatable. You can use a faster cast rate Necro Circlet if you wanted. I was using a +1 skill corrupt Shaco, but I decided to go with Steel Shade for a number of reasons. First off, gives you skills. Second off, it's got 30 faster block rate and 20 increased chance of blocking. So that combined with Homunculus gives me what, 60 and 60, which is really insane, just off 2 items. The last reason, some fire absorb, which is nice, magic fine. But the last reason is I needed cannot be frozen because I have all res on my boots, and the way I worked it out, I could have worked it out better probably by having CBF on my boots, but the way it worked out, I still needed cannot be frozen. But I was getting full res from my other gear, so I didn't want to sacrifice that on my boots. Anyways, cannot be frozen. Of course, it is puzzle box for 2 sockets. I got this for a very nice deal. I think I paid 3 high runes for it like months ago. I just wish it didn't look so stupid when you wear it. Amulet is just some Maras, just well, it's a 30 Maras, which is pretty nice, but it's a gold find corrupt. I think I either found this or I just got this for dirt cheap. Either way, it does a job. The highlight of this video is this perfect 2250 Death's Web that I found in my April highlight video. If you guys haven't seen that, you can go check it out, watch it drop live, with a 5/5 green poison facet in it nonetheless, and 11 mana after each kill, 10 life after each kill, which is very nice as well. I'm an idiot and I slammed it instead of puzzle boxing it, and my buddy was like, oh, you're supposed to puzzle box those first, you know, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, that's actually a way better idea. I should have thought of that. So luckily I didn't brick it, but kind of a waste. Still perfect nonetheless. For the boots, we have water walks, 55 life, smack dab in the middle, and like I said, 8 to all res. Kind of worked out that way where I needed res still, but didn't want to pay for CBF on water walks because they were way overpriced at the time. 40 faster on walk, again, 20 faster block rate, so essential to that max block character, along with the 15 dex and some max fire res. For the first ring, we have a 10 FCR, 18 strength tri-res ring. Probably used this on one of my past characters in one of my build videos, but can't go wrong, castrate strength and tri-res. For the belt, we have Arachnid's Mesh, 18 FCR to hit that breakpoint, and 10 dex corrupt, which helps with my max block just a little bit earlier. We're using a Soj with 6 to energy corrupt. It's just a random Soj. And for the gloves, we have Triangle's Claws, 15 poison skill damage, of course, and 11 light res corrupt. I wanted faster block rate corrupt on these, but the prices were just ridiculous, to be honest. There is room for improvement all over this character, and there's a perfect example right there. For the stash, we have a 54 10 10 underwhelming Necro torch, to be honest, and a 43 10 15 7 Nihilus, which I just swap around from character to character. And all the GCs are literally just plain PNB GCs with the 36 Geeds. I really didn't want to spend all that money on lifers. And for the small charms, we have a bunch of all res and a few magic find charms and a faster hit recovery charm. The offhand, we have a 6 bow CTA with a 2 skill lidless, and that's essentially his gear. So let's check out the Mercenary. So for the Mercenary, I'm using a Doom and an Eth Cryptic Axe. This is a very, very nice roll, over 1000 damage, as you can see. 361 ED, I think perfect is 370. Yeah, because of the Ohm Rune, 370, and minus 58 enemy cold res, which obviously is 2 off perfect. So this really helps with crowd control. Whenever you tele on anyone, they instantly get frozen from his Holy Freeze proc, or I guess on equip. Throw on a G-Face just because it's an OP helm for any melee character in my opinion. We have a couple PDR items now just for survivability. We have the Shaft Stop, which I upgraded to Bone Weave obviously. 30 PDR, which is perfect. And we threw a 15% increase attack speed jewel. I'm not sure if this actually directly affects the attack speed on their weapon. I know there's a whole debate, kerfuffle about, you know, whether it does or not. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm not sure if it got bugged or nerfed. Gloves, we have Dracul's Grasp, low roll on the life, but perfect strength, and then 5 all attributes corrupt. For the belt, we have String of Ears, 8 life stolen per hit, and 13% PDR. This is the best Mercenary belt in my opinion. And for the boots, of course, some Goblin Toes, 29 ED, 21 Crushing Blow. So for the stats, I have just enough strength to use all my gear, which is Steel Shade 109 is at the top there. 170 dex for 75 block, and everything else is dumped into vitality, 416, and I have 1137 life without bow, and nothing into energy, of course, with 408 mana. 80 fire res, 77 cold, 75 lightning, and 75 poison. Go give ourselves a bow. And 1427 life, almost 600 mana, and we do 26k Poison Nova, which is ridiculous, and the Desecrate is, I believe, 49. So as you can see, my Blood Warp is now 0.2 seconds. And you don't even notice the difference, right? That one extra point, if you want to put it into maybe an additional type of curse, just for different scenarios. Maybe 1 extra into clay golem. Bone armor if you're feeling wasteful. So for the in-depth stats here, as you can see, we have an additional 85% poison damage and an additional 71 minus enemy poison resistance. So that's from all my poison items, obviously, Death's Web, stuff like that. So for the cast rate, I hit 48, which is perfectly the 4th breakpoint. And FHR, I'm 55, which is 1 off of the 56 breakpoint. Not the biggest deal. I am max block, so hit recovery is kind of like a secondary reaction. And for the magic find, we have 85, which isn't a lot, but it's definitely astronomically better than 0. And as you can see from my 250 Chaos Sanctuary run video, we find a lot of good gear still with 85. Cast 5 clay golems, just blood warp. And let's show this bitch in action. Now something like a blood maggot, even with lower res, you wouldn't be able to break its poison immunity. So that's why another reason it's like not even worth it, because most things can't even get their poison broken. As you can see, it absolutely shreds. Now the good thing with PD2 is the built-in loot filter, because with this character you're literally telling and casting away just to save time, because you know everything's going to die behind you, since Poison Nova goes over, what, 2 seconds, 3 seconds? 2 seconds. So you don't have to stay there and watch and make sure they die, unless it's like actually something that takes 2, but... So this way you don't lose any items, because you can tele away and it'll just pop up on your screen if anything noteworthy drops. As you can see, that's very fast. I do them in about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Now for Diablo, we're going to switch to Desecrate. We're going to amp him just for, you know, a bit of extra damage. And hope that my Mercenary does not get caught, but she will there. Still very, oh, he just leveled. Still very fast. Do a little Trav run now. Jump in there with the poison. Unique amulet. And we get a metal grid or Mara's for the video. Mahim Oak, classic. I typically only do T3 maps. First and foremost because the experience is just like astronomically better. And secondly because Throne of Insanity and River of Blood maps, they don't have poison immunes. So it's really perfect. The only thing is River Blood maps are super deadly sometimes with those archers if you know, tele into a mighted fanaticism pack or something like that. Another thing I want to showcase is, I'm not sure if it's cast rate, block rate, latency, but sometimes when I tele into packs and I cast Poison Nova, nothing happens. Like it makes the sound, it makes the action, but no Poison Nova comes out. I'm gonna try and trigger it, because it definitely triggers me, and it makes me hate this build sometimes. Like there, I just cast it twice, nothing came out. I'm pretty sure, I might sound so fucking newbie, and I'm like, it's just because I've never experienced this. I know Poison Nova, the cast rate is so much slower than, it's one of the slowest cast rates of any, you know, any caster spell. Is that my max block kicking in? Is that because I don't have a fast enough cast rate? Is it a mixture of the two? Is it my latency? I found the same problem in LOD when I had one back in the day. But it's really the only thing that bugs me about this character. Like there again, I did it twice and only casted once. Wow, a rock. 13, should we slam it? Why not? Fuck you. The other thing is, like, maybe you're just starting off and you don't have GG gear, and so you probably only do like 10k Poison Nova. This is still very viable to use in a map like this. It's kind of the beauty of Blood Moon maps. I don't really like them, but they're viable for any character whatsoever because they have no immunities. Okay, we're gonna kill the Cow Queen now. Let's get rid of all this shit. So just amp her. As you can see, it's pretty slow. She does have a lot of health and defense. but under no real threat. My Mercenary never really dies unless he gets shredded by Diablo's fire. So that's pretty much this build, guys. I mean, not only is this character like some of the highest damage in the game alongside physical bosons and fire trapsins, those are probably the 3 strongest characters, but I mean, just with the Mercenary and the 5 clay golems, like, you're not gonna die unless you do something stupid. But it just has such insane survivability with such a high damage output. It really allows you to accomplish anything in the game, which is why I think it's been so popular this season. And you see guys like Inferno who are doing T3 maps in 6-7 minutes. Probably one of the fastest leveling characters, definitely the fastest magic find character. I really love this character. I won't be making it again just because the gear takes so long to get, like really GG. But next season, I think I'm gonna go with maybe a fire druid. I haven't made a druid or a barb yet, so we'll see. Let me know what you guys think of this character. Did you make one yourself? Did you have gear like this? Did you maybe go with trangs and try to get some different cast rate and breakpoints like that? Let me know if you like this video. Smash that like button and sub to the channel as always, guys, and I'll see you around. Cheers.